Okay, so hello, I'm Tony Sandler. Really excited to be here today. It's actually been a bit crazy recently. We're based in London, but we've just got back from Berlin, where TechCrunch had selected us as one of the top 15 European startups to be showcased at their Disrupt conference. And now here we are at PhoCusWright to talk to you about two problems that all travelers face today. So, firstly, data roaming is so incredibly expensive. You take your smartphone abroad, and effectively, it becomes not so smart. And it's a real shame, because it's probably the time you need it more than any other. Secondly, most online travel companies are focused on pre-planning. But the truth is, the majority of your purchase decisions are made when you arrive in your destination. So often you go to the hotel concierge, you ask for a restaurant recommendation, help with booking theater tickets, tours, etc. Now, there's some great travel-related resources like Time Out to help you then. But there are also some great local resources. So if you want to find a restaurant here in the US, you've got Open Table. But in France, it's La Fourchette. In Spain, it's El Tenedor Restelo. As a tourist, you just don't know the best local ones. So to explain our solution, I'd like to introduce you to John, an independent traveler from South Africa on a 2-week trip to London, Paris, and Barcelona. Now, he's just arrived in London, and he doesn't like to pre-plan. He just enjoys discovering a place upon arrival. He's staying in a hotel in an area called Old Street, and he has various smart mobile devices and doesn't want to pay for roaming. So luckily for John, he's discovered what now? One single app for all of his different iOS devices that aggregates the best local information to allow him to plan once he has arrived in his destination, all without paying for data roaming. So how does this work? Well, pretty much all accommodation nowadays has Wi-Fi. And so John uses the app whilst he's online to be inspired and to plan his immediate next step. So in the morning for the upcoming day. And he decides to go down from his hotel on Old Street to the Tower of London, the Imperial War Museum, and St. Paul's Cathedral. At this point, the app liaises with our servers, where it pulls out the relevant pockets of information from existing review, map, and transit providers around his chosen points of interest and along the corridors between them. And then we can put a personalized file on the phone that simulates a live smartphone experience. So let's look at what this offline experience looks like. So this is all in airplane mode, as you'll see from the symbol at the top left, so totally offline. And normally there'd be a blue location beacon highlighting where you are on the map using GPS satellite signals and local Wi-Fi hotspots. For the purposes of this demo, we're going to use our imagination as we follow John around. So he sets off walking using his free GPS towards his first destination, the Tower of London. But the truth is, as a traveler, you don't care about going the quickest route from A to B. You're very happy to detour and find interesting stuff nearby. You just don't know what or where there is. So we created this feature called Radar, where we help contextualize distance so you can understand what's around you. And it's got a little walking man symbol at the bottom left of the map with 15 minutes there. And as you zoom the map in and out, that changes to help you understand what's around you. Now, you'll also notice we have 10 curated recommendations on screen at any one point in time. Now, because the app is designed from the ground up for planning your immediate next steps, we know things like the weather and the time of day. So if it's the middle of the afternoon and rainy, we can suggest more like a coffee shop or art gallery. Now, equally, you can filter based on your current needs too. So maybe you're looking for a coffee shop at this moment in time. Or maybe you have an emergency of some kind. Now, in John's case, it's lunchtime, so he's looking for some food. So he clicks on this, sees various restaurants, and then here's this place, Duck and Waffle. So he clicks on it to see more information. And we have aggregated sources from Yelp, Foursquare, Wikipedia, Facebook, etc. Now, he quite likes the look, goes in, eats way too much food, then continues on walking to the Tower of London, walking all around, and then decides, right, I don't want to walk anymore. So he goes and clicks in the itinerary at the top there, and then we can choose transit mode. So here, we pre-cache the fastest transit routes between your pre-chosen itinerary points. So now he's finished at the Tower of London, we can show him the closest bus stop he needs to get to. He has to take the 3:44 bus, where he's going to, how long the journey's going to take, even how often the buses are going to be running. Then he goes on to the Imperial War Museum, and once again, we have the same thing as he travels on. So he can find the closest bus stop to go to St. Paul's Cathedral, and we can even prompt him using free GPS when to get off at the correct bus stop, which is hugely valuable when you're a tourist in a foreign city. So we have competition. Offline-wise, the current model is to take a paper guidebook or map and just put it on a smartphone. So here you have one app per place that you visit. Often the information is really generic, and there's so much information, the file sizes are huge, and often it's out of date. Now, you can solve this problem by going for a live location-based service. But here, you're paying an absolute fortune for roaming. So what now is unique? We've built this product from the ground up by going, how can you simulate a live smartphone experience without paying for roaming? And ultimately, the intention is one single app, like Google Maps, you open wherever you are, pull the best local information, then go off and explore. So we monetize by replacing the hotel concierge. So we sell theater tickets, restaurant and tour bookings for existing third parties, and take an affiliate commission. Partner-wise, we've got some great partners. So content-wise, we're working with all these people. So we've got special deals with Yelp and Foursquare to have offline access to their data. We work with other open data providers, with Rome to Rio for aggregating transit. Distribution-wise, we're working with Odigio, the largest European online travel agency, to promote us to tourists arriving in London. We're working with Wi-Fi operators who run hotspots at key arrival gateways like train stations and airports. And we're also working with local tourism boards to bridge both the content and the distribution side of things. Now, what gets us roaming costs are not forever. We know this. So in the European Union, there's a lot of downward pressure on pricing. But if you're an American or Australian coming to Europe or vice versa, it's still a very real pain point. And it's the most compelling reason we could persuade someone to use our product right now. Going forward, what we want to do is we'll start to learn what users like and dislike. And that's when things get really interesting. Because if you've got two people in London who like the same kind of art galleries and coffee shops, when one goes to Paris and the other's already been there, we can start being very bespoke with those 10 recommendations that we curate on screen at any one point in time. Trend-wise, so the growth in Airbnb and their many clones gets us really excited. So what's happening is travelers are staying in much more residential parts of town where the Lonely Planets of this world can't help them, but the Yelps and Open Tables of this world can. And secondly, these same people no longer have access to hotel concierges, yet they still want to book restaurants, theater tickets, and tours. They have smart mobile devices, and they're not using them because of the high cost of roaming, and that's where we come in. And we're already finding many partners are getting quite excited by how we can monetize this in-destination space. So the team-wise, so my background, sales, marketing, advertising, done an MBA, got very strong technical guys, each with more than 20 years experience to help build this technical challenge. Advisors, again, great guys, including some senior travel experience. We're launching in London first in a few weeks' time. And just to summarize, we have a unique product that solves a real pain point. The time for our product and our solution is now, and people are already getting very excited by what we're doing, and we haven't even launched yet. We've got a beta version of the app for Miami, so if anyone's interested, come via our booth, find us, we can get you set up. Follow us on Twitter, website, sign up. Thank you very much.
I've got a really cool idea. What I think you should do is, because I love this idea. I'm the guy who takes screenshots, 100 of them on my phone whenever I go to a country. What would be really cool if you just cached all of Google Maps and Yelp for my Tokyo trip, and I could just take the whole thing, but just open it just like Google Maps, just like Yelp, and just go through. That would be amazing to me to have that on my phone and access to it. And I definitely understand the pain point. What I want you to be cautious of is you're fixing two pain points at one. One is bringing it offline of content that we already know and love and know how to use, although it might be different in different countries. Two is the whole in-destination tourism activities experience, which is really hard to do right. Lots of people we know are doing it. Very few are succeeding in doing it. And so be careful, because there might be elegant solutions on one that don't get you having to fight the battle on the other. And so when I think about offline tourism activities, I think, yes. But I'm not, I haven't used your app, so I don't know, but I'm not entirely sure that if your user experience is going to be up to snuff, or if it around the edges a little bit. And my last quick point is I would download as much possible data as you can before. I would put 2 gigs on my iPhone before I leave, as much as possible. Don't make me stop at a train station and download. I want to do it before I leave, and I want to know it's there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would use something that didn't have the little blue dot that shows me where I am. I got to say, I think you said it. A lot of downward pressure on data roaming, which means eventually I'm going to be able to get all the content with my blue dot. Maybe it comes through you guys, but I agree with Evan. You're sort of solving two problems. And the mapping problem, maps for a traveler in a foreign city are a utility. it's a bit, it's figuring out where you are, right? And so if you're not going to do that, I guess people are toggling on and off, to figure out where they are. It just feels, it feels temporary is what it feels like to me.
Well, I do think that it is a problem. I was just in Spain a couple weeks ago, and I got my phone bill, and I thought I was really smart about it, and I wasn't. Apologize, my boss, but here. But I think that what's interesting is that business travelers have this problem all the time, and wouldn't it be interesting if there was a way for you to editorialize some of the destinations so that, and maybe white label it for a business travel program so that when people are going to Paris, they can download the information they need. And when they're in Paris, they can also see the locations their travel manager recommends as an appropriate place to take a client to dinner, or the hotel that has a complimentary cocktail hour at night that you want to take advantage of. So things like that I think would be interesting.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much. I just want to clarify at the very front, we will see the blue dot.
Yeah.
That was just a demo. So you have full offline mapping capabilities
my
and move
blue
around.
dot.
So you will have your blue
Clearly.
dot. No problems there. In terms of the original comment just about addressing different markets, I mean, we're not trying to go after the kind of the long tail of the tours and activities. We're working with third parties who already do that. We want to focus on trying to solve the roaming pain point, be the kind of the source that you go to when you're having those problems and that pain point. And in terms of the white label, absolutely, we're already talking to people. I mean, with things like tourism boards, they're very, very interested in this kind of space where you can help monetize the in-destination kind of spend, revenue shares, all of this kind of stuff through providing a real solution to a pain point that many people have. So absolutely, white labeling is something we're certainly interested in talking about with various people, but we haven't launched yet. It's just all, it's been a real whirlwind, and it's really great to be here. So thank you guys very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony Sandler.